Hey everyone, Once Bitten here with the battle report from the first game of a tournament that I went to this last weekend. This is in Indianapolis, which is about 2+ hours away from where I live. Only about 10 people signed up for the tournament. It's 3,000 points, no comp, which I thought was pretty cool. You can bring one hero level special character, which I didn't, and every game has different kind of scenarios to it. So this is game one. I'm facing some Dark Elves. Starting on my left, he's got some Dark Riders. There at the upper left is a level 2 sorceress. You can see what she has. Basically, she flies behind your lines and casts Lore of Death spells. There's some shades in the building. Behind the building, some harpies. And then Hydra number 1. And then just to the right of the Hydra are some Corsairs with the Sea Serpent banner. In front of them is the General, whipped out. whipped out. Equipped, as you can see, with the Whip of Agony and other things. Next to him is a Master, also on a Dark Pegasus. He's got the Ring of Hotek, so you can see he tries to get him near your spellcasters to mess them up. So there in the middle, he's got a pretty big block of Executioners. Behind them is the Cauldron of Blood with the Hag, BSB. And then some Warriors with the level 4 Sacrificial Dagger. And they have Standard Discipline, Hydra, and then 20 crossbows on the hill. And then some more Dark Riders. So I've got some bowmen in the woods, some fast cav. Building on the right, I've got 50 men-at-arms. With them is the damsel that gives them the ward save, the same one that the knights have. Knights errant with the errantry banner with my general. So this is kind of a monster killing unit. So I have him across from one of his hydras on purpose. Next to them is my Knight of the Realm unit with a bunch of characters. I'll go over them in just a second. And then to the left of that are some questy knights. So my characters, I've got my BSB with the 2-up rerollable Sword of Might. The Green Knight model is a Paladin with a Weapon Skill 10, 1-up rerollable. And then I've got the Prophetess in the middle, Crown of Command, and a scroll. So in the woods, I've got a Grail Relique. I've got a couple Trebuchets. Between the Trebuchets is my objective marker. You can see his objective marker kind of in front of his Executioners. Those do not impact movement. They're just objective markers. So you can get an extra tournament point for having a character or a unit that has full command, or at least started the game with full command in base contact with it. Anyway, I got some Peg Knights, Archers, and then the very far left, some Grail Knights with the Banner of Eternal Flame. So Dark Elves go first. He shuffles forward just a little bit. He's worried about getting charged. It looks something like that. During his magic phase, he got -1 movement off on my general's unit, I think. On my turn, I go ahead and declare a charge against the fast cav unit with my Knights Errant. I figure if I hit him, I'm going to win combat easily and have a really good chance of overrunning into the front of his crossbows. I could beat them in combat pretty easily and be able to turn and face his Hydra and or his Sorcerer's unit, and that could be really good. So he just fled with them, and so my guys stopped right there, which I'm okay. I was pretty okay with them being there anyway. I've got 2 Trebuchets and an Amber Spear, so I'm okay with the distance attacks that I have, so I'm okay hanging back a little bit. I do pull my men-at-arms out of the building. The men-at-arms, ideally, I would like to get into the flank of that Executioner unit, or get in their front, or do whatever. Just use the men-at-arms to whittle them down as much as possible. Here on the far left, he had brought his Harpies and his Dark Riders up. I wasn't sure why. When I declared the charge, I crisscrossed them. That way, if I did, because my Grail Knights were on the left and my Pegasus Knights were on the right, but if I declared the charges against the unit directly in front of him, he could have just fled. This way, if he fled with his Harpies, he'd have fled off the board. So he decided just to stand with both of them. And overall, it looks like that. Nothing of significance happened in the shooting phase, despite 2 Trebuchets and all that. So after combat, yeah, easily won both of these. You see, I lost 1 Grail Knight to his Dark Riders, and yeah, we just reformed. The Harpies, you know, I think I killed everybody to a man in those fights. So I just reformed. I kind of like my position there, facing the flank of his lines. Go Dark Elf turn 2. So he moves his Hydras up. If you look on the right, he moves that Hydra up just to lay that flame template down on top of all my men-at-arms, and that's going to really, really hurt. But I don't really care. Over here, that Hydra is going to breathe on top of my Grail Knights. I'm really hoping my armor saves help, because I'd hate to lose all those guys. Overall, he's still just kind of hanging back a little bit. Yeah, I don't think I took a picture of it, but the Hydra over here, the Flame Template hit, over half the unit, strength 5. I do have a 5-up ward save against it. He still pretty much cut the unit in half. Over here, he only killed 2 Grail Knights, so I was happy enough about that. During his magic phase, he got -2 strength off on the Grail Knights, which I let through because my plan is to charge his Corsairs, and they don't need strength 6. I think even strength 4 will do what I need it to do. I need them mainly just not to die when they get in that combat. So we go Bretonnia turn 2. If you look at the top left, my Grail Knights go ahead and charge the flank of the Corsairs, take my Questy Knights into their front. If I can win that, you see we're going to go directly ahead, so my Grail Knights will get a free charge into his Master, and my Questy Knights I'm really, really hoping will run far enough so that his Executioners cannot flank charge. Let's see. Otherwise, if you look on the right, my General in the Knights Errant declared a charge against the Hydra, and he fled, so we have another failed charge. Here on the left, I decided to just take my Peg Knights into the flank of his General. I don't know if I have a great chance of winning that. If nothing else, I'll have a charge and a flank, and so I have a chance to maybe beat him through combat res. If I can hold up there, I might be able to get my Grail Relique into the other flank of him if I can hold up there a couple turns. So it's kind of what I was hoping for there. There were just other views of the board. Yeah, I think the archers might have put a wound on the level 2 way on the far left. She's got the Pendant of Koleth, so not even wasting trebuchet shots on her. One of my trebs blows itself up. And this was huge. But my Knights go into the Corsairs. You can see I don't lose any Grail Knights. I lose, I think, 1 Questy Knight. Easily beat him through combat res and run him down. And his Executioners fail their panic test. I'm pretty sure they're not within the General's leadership, but I think they were probably within the BSB's reroll. And so for them to fail that was kind of a big deal. He's actually lucky they didn't run off the board. I mean, you could see another couple inches and they would have. So my Grail Knights get the free charge into the Master on the Dark Pegasus, and he's not really equipped to be that fighty, so I'm hoping they can make short work of him. And then obviously my Questy Knights are out of danger because the Executioners are now behind his lines. And this was game breaking, because really, even if his Executioners rally, they're for the most part out of the game. Now keep in mind too, this game has been going really slowly. We only have 3 hours to play, and there's no way we're going to get to 6 turns. I'm looking at this point probably going to be lucky to get through 4 turns. So that's why I'm saying his Executioners are for the most part out of the game. And he might be able to conserve their points, but they're not going to chop up all my Knights, which is my big concern with them. Over here, he issued a challenge, killed my champion. I think I still may have won combat. I think I won because I had a musician, and he stuck. So, Dark Elf turn 3. On the upper right, his Dark Riders, his Hydra rallies, his Executioners rally, which at this point I was kind of glad. It just would have been too much bad luck if they had just run off the board. Over here, he took his level 2 and charged my archers, which I was really surprised about. I mean, my archers are horrible in combat, so it's not that, but she's still fairly frail. I think she has 3 wounds because she's on a Dark Pegasus, and she's easily sitting on 1 wound already. Either my bowman got it on her before, or that was a stand and shoot. So over here, nothing's really changed. We're still locked in combat. Yeah, not sure. I think when he reformed it might have been better to go ahead and reform them so they could scoot around his warrior unit. I think, a lot of times everything's going so fast, you just reform them so you just turn them around when they rally. And so now he's kind of, he's behind his warriors unit. So if I see my men-at-arms on the right, I'm thinking I'm in the front of those warriors. If I can get a charge in there and hold them up, that'll delay his Executioners and then almost certainly keep them out of the game. Otherwise, it looks like this. Grail Knights kind of getting a pillow fight with the Master. I don't think he didn't wound me, and I don't know if I did more than one wound on him, but I do beat him. Do not run him down. But remember, this is his turn. So on my turn, my Grail Knights are going to charge him, push him off the table. Then they're going to try to redirect into the cauldron, and they're going to fail the redirect test. So they're just going to have to stumble forward and pretty much take themselves out of the game. Over here, his general beat my Peg Knights, and I think I had one Peg Knight left, and he went ahead and ran him down, which I was bummed. I was kind of hoping to get my Grow Relique to charge his rear, but didn't happen. The level 2 on the Dark Pegasus did beat my archers, and so she's back there. Now, I think she's sitting on 2 wounds, and so her initial plan may have been to charge the trebuchet, which isn't a bad idea, because as long as you can stay alive, you're going to beat it through combat res, and it'll auto-destroy. But sitting on 1 wound, she's probably not going to do all 4 wounds to him, and I think she's worried that the player was worried that she would, take an unlucky wound and die. So we go to Brett turn 3. So again, my general with the Knights Errant charges Hydra, and he doesn't flee this time because the distance is far enough, and I fail it. It's like the story of the game is a general failing his charges. And my men-at-arms do make it into his warrior unit. Not only I'm really hoping I can hold them up, I'm throwing every attack I can at his level 4, because if you saw how she's equipped, she really has a sacrificial dagger and I think maybe a scroll or something, but she's very fragile. So I'm hoping if nothing else, if they can assassinate her, then I'm great with anything else that might happen. I move my Battle Standard Bearers unit to the left. If they're going to get in a fight, let's say that the warriors were to beat the men-at-arms, chase them down, and then charge my Knights of the Realm, I'm okay with that. I think I'll stick around. He's not going to beat me. I'll be stubborn, 8 rerollable, and I just need to keep that warrior unit between his executioners and my Knights. Otherwise, you can see on the left, I take my Grow Relique up. Next turn, I plan on having it charge the building with the shades. Over here, I take the Green Knight out of the BSB's unit. One thing I was thinking, he might be able to charge that level 2, and he can run up and get next to that objective marker just to the right of my trebuchet. That gives me an extra tournament point. If the game ends with my men-at-arms there, I think they get an extra tournament point for being next to that objective marker, so that works. Really worried about taking my Question Knights into that Cauldron of Blood. I mean, I just had a game recently where they tried to attack a Hell Cannon and just got owned. And this worries me a little bit. I'm just hoping that, if the Cauldron kills a few, I have enough attacks. I only need to do 4 wounds on it. And because my Grail Knights failed their redirect test, it's going to take me till Bretonnia turn 5 for them to get in there, and I don't think we're going to have a turn 5. So it looks like that. Yeah, here I just wheeled. I don't have a musician with those bowmen, so they just wheeled so I can get a few people shooting at his Dark Riders, and they missed. And at the end of combat, he killed 4 of my men-at-arms, and I put 2 wounds on the Sorceress and did 3 wounds on Warriors. So men-at-arms actually won that combat with the Warriors even having hatred. They held, but I was thrilled. I was thrilled with the men-at-arms performance because, again, one, the Sorceress is sitting on only 1 wound remaining, and so next time I'm very likely going to kill her. And 2, it keeps his executioners bottled up totally away from my Knights. Dark Elf turn 4, he flies his level 2 behind my Green Knight model. Basically, she wants to cast the Lore of Death, I think it's the Caress of Lyneth spell on my Trebuchet, see if she can kill it. And then another weird scenario we have is 5 of your characters or unit champions could have this globe of poisonous vapors, but it's like a shooting attack that hits on a 4-up, strength 3, no armor save. So she's going to throw that at my Green Knight and hope to be able to put a wound on him. Over here, he took his general, flew him directly in front of my Grow Relique, and he has the Black Dragon Egg, so he's going to lay a Flame Template down on them. I gave them Weissen's Wild Form. I think it really because there was nothing else to really do with my magic phase. His Dark Riders charge the flank of my bowman. His Hydra rallies. Apparently last time I guess when I charged, I said that he stuck and I failed. It looks like he must have fled it. Oh no. I'm sorry. He stuck and I failed my charge last time. This time he just moves his Hydra out of the way. He just doesn't want my general getting into it, which I don't blame him. You can see here he kind of, I don't know how he did this, but somehow he moved his executioners over and then moved them up. The Caress of Lyneth spell went off on my Trebuchet, if that's the right spell, whatever it is, and I lost 3 models, but hey, I have 1 left, and so the Trebuchet's still alive, and she didn't wound my Green Knight. The Flame Template goes down on my Grey Relique and only kills, I think, 2? Yeah, because I only start with 11 Battle Pilgrims, so I think it only killed 2. The 5-up ward save, or whatever strength that thing is, my ward save, I think, really helped. After combat, my men-at-arms were not able to get the final wound off on the sorceress, and they lost combat. But I'm okay. We're down to the bottom of the 4th is my next turn. I'm going to get a charge with my BSB into his warrior unit. I'm either going to break him or not. If I don't break him, they're going to get that objective marker. If I do break him, then he's not going to get a turn to countercharge with his executioners. So I'm really in a no-lose situation. So Brett turn 4. If you look on the far right, when his Dark Riders charged my bowman, he won and I held. I was steadfast, and so I was able to reform. So a couple good rolls there. I took my Battle Standard Bearers unit into a sorceress. I'm going to at least kill her and get points for that, and try to break that unit. If I break them, I'm thinking I probably won't even overrun. I'll just reform so I can secure that objective marker. I turn my Green Knight around to face his level 2 there in the bottom left. So I can throw that globe at her and try to take her out. Not only would I get points for her, but you get like an extra tournament point if you kill a character or the last model in a unit using that little globe shooting attack. So that's what I'm doing there. One thing that it wouldn't have made a difference in the overall scheme of things, but my general's unit didn't even charge his crossbows because we were running low on time, and I thought I had the game regardless, so there was no point in taking him in there. If I look more closely at how they're scoring things, they really did break down how badly you beat your opponent. So if I had charged the crossbows and beaten them, that might have given me an extra tournament point, which, like I said, in the end it didn't matter, but I just need to pay more attention to scoring before I go into these games. If you look at the top left, my Questing Knights are in with the Cauldron of Blood. I mean, it's kind of what I thought it was. I lose a couple knights. I'm killing her. I think I killed, when I charged in, I killed one of the Death Hags. During his turn, I killed the other Death Hag and put 1 wound on the Battle Standard Bearer Death Hag. I'm getting confused on terminology there, but the Cauldron of Blood is down to 1 wound. My shooting attack does indeed kill that sorceress, so that's nice. Over here was great. My bowman actually killed the Dark Riders. So my opponent was just having awful luck. It's kind of funny. So at the end of the game, it looks like that. My Battle Standard Bearers unit goes in, kills the sorceress, beats the unit. It breaks. I do not overrun because I decided just to reform and snag that objective. The objectives were weird. I mean, you had to be in base-to-base contact with it, and I was just barely missing it. So my Questing Knights with the Cauldron of Blood, I couldn't take off that last wound, so they were just sitting there. And there on the right, this picture obviously wasn't taken in time. This is a previous picture, but his Dark Riders are off the board. So started off with a victory I was very, very pleased about. I think I would have been really frustrated if I was my opponent. Failing his panic test on his executioners was huge. I mean, it was really the only good combat unit he had that had ranks and could really take down knights, and it just didn't work. So anyway, that was it. We get, I think there's 25 possible points, I think, because there's like 5 possible objective points, which would be very difficult to get. There may have even been more than that, I don't know, but you get 20 battle points. I think I got 15, or better yet, I got 14 plus 1 extra one. So something like that. I don't know. It's a victory, good solid win. Probably was not at the top of the leaderboard at this point, but I'll take it. I'll always take a win. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed it.